In New York City, you had that ad of Zohran Mamdani opening the fridge. Hello, we're going to freeze the rent this time. Good news, New Yorkers. But what's happening? Well, let's look at the New York City residential rental market report. This is from this past month in June of 2026. So if you go down, it's just a lot of gobbledygook. But right here in Manhattan, okay, the median Manhattan rent reached a new record of $5,295 per month. $5,295. That's insane. Look, if you go down, please go down more, please. Brooklyn. So median rent in Brooklyn is $4,350 per month in June of 2026. So median rent has been growing, and just think about it, okay, like $5,000 for rent, and you think about the size of the average New York City apartment, it is literally the size of a booger. It's so small, but they're paying thousands upon thousands upon thousands in rent. So, looks like the rent freeze didn't work. Rent freeze didn't work. We have this tweet from Mark D. Levine, who is the comptroller of New York City. So rents in New York City has hit an all-time high. Median market rate in June, Manhattan, $5,300 per month, which is an 8.2% increase year over year. And then Brooklyn, $4,350, 8.1% increase. NYC's housing affordability crisis is at DEFCON 1. We need to push harder on every front to address our housing shortage. Update zoning, invest more city dollars in affordable units, lower the time and cost. Blah, 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 blah. We need bold action. This is a crisis. Like, no, like, you see that whenever these leftist politicians meddle in the housing market in this way, try to have rent freezes, try to have affordability, create more units for affordability. All it does is increase prices. Like, it doesn't help. It's like so unsustainable. And so then what is the solution? Because yes, New Yorkers are looking for solutions. And we will release the New York video this week. I promise, chat. But we will release the video where we're talking to New Yorkers, and we talked to New Yorkers on the streets of the New York Knicks parade after they won the NBA final. And most of them are looking for change. They want something different in New York because it is so expensive. And then so they're desperate, and they look at people like Zohran Mamdani. They're like, okay, well, at least he has a proposed solution, and it's not working, of course, because socialism doesn't work. You can address it up and create pretty packaging for it, but it never works. But what is the solution? The solution is this, from Patriot Brandon Gill. 40% of New York NYC renters are foreign-born, and many are here illegally. Mass deportations fix that math fast. That's it. That's it. Look at this chart. Look at how many foreigners are in New York City. 40%. Nearly half of renters in New York City are foreign-born. Half! Half of New York City are foreigners. This is why you go to New York, you cannot recognize it. There's literally not a single heritage New Yorker who can trace their ancestry to New York from when the Dutch settlers built New York. But even then, like, they're not even born in New York. Half of them are not even born in New York. I don't know how this doesn't radicalize anyone. Imagine if half of Seoul residents in South Korea were foreigners. I mean, that'd be a revolution. How is there not a revolution at this point? And I'm not calling for a revolution, but what I am saying, it is insane how many foreigners occupy the biggest city in America. The most influential city in America, New York City. Concrete jungle, where dreams are made of. New York, New York, New York. Literally, people always say it's such a simplification to say mass deportation solves all issues. No, mass deportation solves literally almost all of our issues. Literally all of our issues that we have in America today, whether it's the crime rate, whether it's the housing crisis, whether it's affordability, whether it's just standard of living, social cohesion, community gathering, charitable giving, every single social metric and societal metric will drastically improve. Even traffic jams, the fraud, our taxes, everything would drastically improve. Heck, even the potholes. How many potholes are there in all of our cities and all of our states and towns, man? All of these things can be drastically improved if America isn't focused on babysitting foreigners. But right now, all of American politics has been literally reorganized and restructured so that it's all about babysitting foreigners and the lowest common denominator in society. The criminals, the violent ones, the gangbangers, the baby mamas. We just have to have mass deportations, and it solves literally 90% of the issues. And I think the rest of the 10% of the issues can be solved with mass incarcerations. That's it. That's it. And we solve the fraud. We solve the tax schemes, the money laundering schemes. We solve the affordability crisis. It's literally simple like supply and demand. Like we don't need more housing units. We just need foreign invaders out of America. That's it. That's it. That's all you have to do. So all of this posturing about rent freezes and we're going to get your rent under control. Well, clearly it's not working. It's not working. Rent is at an all-time high in New York City. All you have to do is get the mass amount of foreigners out so that New Yorkers can have a city for New Yorkers again. It'll always be expensive because that's just the nature of the city. But at least you can make it a little more affordable so that New Yorkers aren't paying an average of $5,000 per month for rent. That is an insane amount of money just wasted. Just mass deportations. It's not a hateful thing. Just reclaim your sovereignty because a nation is not an economic zone. It's not just a plot of land that anyone can come in and feel entitled to everything. No, a nation is a home for its people, and it is the inheritance and birthright of those descended from those who built the country. America's for Americans. Mass deportations now, and let's get those housing prices down. It really does solve so many issues, and it's not a simplistic way of thinking about things. Like even in our politics, when you think about abortion, LGBTQ, and like if only Americans voted and no foreign-born immigrants voted, like Republicans would win every single time. So we would ban abortion easily. We would have banned all the trans nonsense. We would ban we could overturn Obergefell. We could have all great things in society again. As a Christian, even the things you want as a Christian, we can have a Christian nation again so easily. But we got to first reclaim American sovereignty for Americans first and foremost. And the foreign invaders, they've overwhelmingly, no matter how much you try to appeal to immigrants and foreigners, they overwhelmingly vote left and Democrat. Because why? The Democrat Party promises them free stuff, and they do give them free stuff. So yeah, the average voter is going to vote for free stuff. That's just how they work, which is why, again, democracy doesn't work. A lot of people aren't ready for that conversation. But yeah, voting is not a right. It is a privilege, and it is a responsibility. So if you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't vote. And foreigners should not vote. End of the deal.